on a stormy evening in Philadelphia, January 26, 2011. Two lovers, Ellen Greenberg and Sam Greenberg, decided to head home early to avoid the bad weather. Sam, full of energy, went to the gym in their building, leaving Ellen to make a fruit salad in their cozy apartment. Little did they know, this ordinary evening would take a strange turn. After 45 minutes, Sam returned to find the door tightly locked the inside. Confused, he tried knocking, calling, and even texting Ellen, but there was no response. With no other option, Sam broke down the locked door, but what he discovered was a chilling nightmare, the lifeless body of Ellen surrounded by a gruesome pool of blood, with extensive wounds. The baffling part, there were no signs of struggle or forced entry, and nobody had heard anything. No screams, no disturbances. But who could have committed such heinous crime meticulously? Well, join us as we look into the mysterious death of Ellen Greenberg. With that said, let's dive in. On June 23, 1983, Ellen Ray Greenberg, also known as Ellie, was born in the heart of New York City. Ellen, the beloved only child of Joshua, a periodontist, and Sandra, a dental hygienist, displayed a delightful mix of girl charm and athletic prowess from a young age. At the age of 27, Ellen found her calling as a first-grade teacher at Juniata Park Academy in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She wasn't just a teacher. She was a rising star in the education world, proudly serving as one of the founding teachers at the school. During this time, Ellen crossed paths with Samuel Greenberg, a producer at NBC, and their relationship blossomed. Over nearly 3 years, Sam's charisma and successful career drew Ellen closer to him. Their love story led to a decision to get engaged, a moment of pure excitement for Ellen. However, on the 26th of 2011 around 6:30 p.m., Sam made a disturbing call to 911 for help. During the 911 call, Sam described finding Ellen on the floor with blood everywhere. Sam explained that he had gone downstairs to work out, returned to find the door latched, and after half an hour, decided to break it down. He discovered Ellen on the floor, unresponsive, and covered in blood. However, it's puzzling that at this critical moment, Sam seemed more concerned about providing an alibi to the police than urgently requesting help for Ellen. The operator repeatedly urged Sam to perform CPR, but he appeared hesitant, stating that Ellen must have stabbed herself with a knife lodged in her chest. Sam's choice of words, implying that Ellen had stabbed herself rather than someone else stabbing her, raised suspicion. Considering the severe wounds she had, it seems unlikely that Ellen would have had the energy to inflict them upon herself. As the 911 call continued, Sam expressed concern about what to do next, and the operator advised against attempting CPR with the knife still inside Ellen. Sam's behavior during the call, remaining surprisingly calm and conversational, adds an extra layer of mystery to the whole crime scene ordeal. The first responders to the crime scene were 2 members of the fire department. Shortly after, a lieutenant and 2 EMS officers arrived, but the lieutenant advised them to wait for the police. But the EMS officers went directly to the apartment while Sam waited in the hallway. Around 6:40 p.m., the EMS officers officially announced Ellen's unfortunate passing. Interestingly, throughout the entire apartment, there were no signs of a struggle, and everything remained neatly in its place, as if undisturbed. The investigation took a significant turn when an investigator from the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office arrived. As he examined Ellen's body, he made some important observations. Near her body were a pair of glasses, a hair scrunchie on her wrist, and her left hand clutched to a pristine white towel unstained by blood. The examination revealed a total of 20 stab wounds on Ellen's body. The chest wound with the knife was just one of these 20 injuries found across her head, neck, back, and torso. This chilling discovery raised questions, as it seemed highly improbable for someone to have 20 self-inflicted stab wounds. Additionally, there were 11 bruises on Ellen's body in various stages of healing, spanning her right arm, right leg, and abdomen. With these puzzling details in mind, the police launched an intense investigation of the crime scene, aiming to understand what happened during the 45 minutes when Ellen's fiancé was downstairs working out. The initial theories explored by the police led to more questions than answers. Additionally, there was no evidence of a robbery, as Ellen's valuables, like jewelry and laptops, remained in the apartment. Even a thorough search of the house turned up no death note or any indication that Ellen might have taken her own life. Despite interviewing all building staff, neighbors, and anyone who might have seen or heard anything unusual, no one noticed anything out of the ordinary, and there were no reports of strangers entering the apartment. Furthermore, no DNA other than Ellen's was found in the house. However, the theory of homicide gained strength due to the gruesome details of the wounds on Ellen's body. These wounds, including 8 in the chest, 1 in her stomach, 1 on the top of her head, and a shocking 10 at the back of her head, made it nearly impossible for someone to remain conscious and have the strength to inflict 20 stab wounds on themselves, deepening the mysteries surrounding her death. Now, with the investigation shifting toward the possibility of homicide, suspicion naturally fell upon Ellen's fiancé, Sam. He was the last person to see Ellen alive and had easy access to their apartment. So Sam was led out of the building in handcuffs and brought to the district headquarters for questioning. Throughout that night and the subsequent investigation, Sam cooperated fully with the police, never asserting any privileges or refusing to speak with the authorities. After a relatively brief interrogation, Sam was eventually released and cleared of any suspicions. However, what raised eyebrows was the veil of secrecy around the investigation. The experts and private detectives brought in to assist were denied access to crucial police reports, including details from Sam's interview. Sam's initial handcuffing indicated that the police had suspicions, but what happened in that interview room remained a well-guarded secret. As time passed, it became clear that the investigation into Ellen's case was taking an unexpected twist. Initially assumed to be a homicide scene, the handling of the case didn't align with what you typically expect in a murder investigation. On January 27, 2007, Melissa Ware, the manager of the building where the incident occurred, made an interesting call to the police. She relayed that Sam's uncle James Schwartzman made an unusual request to gain access to the apartment and retrieve Sam's personal belongings for use at Ellen's funeral, scheduled for the following day in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Melissa reached out to the police department to inquire about allowing access to the apartment, considering it was still considered a crime scene and less than 24 hours had passed since Ellen's tragic death. To her shock, she was told that there were no specific restrictions about entering the apartment. However, Melissa expressed concerns about lingering bloodstains, but the police claimed no responsibility for cleanup and directed her to contact a third-party crime scene cleanup company. Without delay, Melissa contacted the cleanup company to take care of Ellen's apartment. The mystery surrounding the case took another unexpected turn after the cleanup was completed. When Uncle James arrived, he selected one of Sam's suits for the funeral, which was expected. However, the surprise came when he decided to take Ellen's laptop and phone with him. This raised suspicion, as it was unconventional for the victim's personal items to be removed, especially considering they might contain potential evidence. The situation had become increasingly mysterious, and it seemed like law enforcement wasn't taking significant steps to investigate or address the puzzling elements at play. Now, on January 27, 2011, the same day, Ellen's autopsy was performed, revealing a distressing image. She had suffered 8 separate stab wounds to her chest, with depths ranging from 2 centimeters to a staggering 10 centimeters. Her abdomen had 6 centimeter deep punctures and a 6.5 number long gash. The scalp had signs of extreme violence with 10 individual stab wounds ranging in depth from 2 centimeter to a staggering 7 centimeter, with 1 penetrating nerve and the brain. Medically, these injuries would cause severe pain, cranial nerve dysfunction, and traumatic brain signs and symptoms, including numbness, tingling, and loss of consciousness. Furthermore, Ellen had a significant wound at the base of her skull, extending deep into her brain, resulting from an upward strike that would have been extremely difficult, if not impossible, for Ellen to self-inflict. The examiners also presented compelling evidence that more than one knife had been used to stab Ellen. Some wounds had serrated edges while others were smoother. If multiple knives were involved, it became increasingly implausible that Ellen could have taken her own life by stabbing herself with one knife, and then miraculously switching to a different one. After ongoing discussions and doubts, a significant turning point occurred in October 2019. Ellen's parents took legal action by filing a civil suit against the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office and pathologist Marlon Osborne. Their primary objective was to challenge the initial determination of Ellen taking her own life and advocate for a change to classify her case as a potential homicide. Detective Scott Ellman, a crime scene reconstruction expert, discovered inconsistencies in Ellen's case, particularly a blood pattern on her face, contradicting the initial police account. Ellman's report suggested that Ellen's body had been moved multiple times after the stabbing, making suicide implausible. Expert analysis and a 3D anatomical recreation presented by Ellen's parents strongly indicated homicide. Despite this, the Attorney General's office closed the case in February 2022, asserting Ellen's suicide without addressing the compelling evidence for murder. The unresolved details warrant further investigation, raising hopes that the truth surrounding Ellen's death will eventually emerge, bringing justice and closure to her grieving family and community. And there you have it, guys. Let us know what you think about this strange case in the comment section below, and if you want more content like this, make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more.